Okay. And have you been waiting for me for a long time? Yeah, it's rain. Okay, so let me put on my glasses. I see much better like this. And take off my scarf. So today, as far as I remember, we have our lesson on, our small discussion on Francis Bacon. Is it right? Okay. So have you studied something at home? Yeah, I remember I told you about this. So that's good. You took a notebook with you. Yeah, I prefer that you write with pen rather than type with your laptop, because you memorize much better when you write with hands, and there is connection between your hand with which you are writing and with your brains. It's very useful, very healthy for your brains to write, to do something with hands. And I took my notebook and some articles that I will be reading to you today. Alongside with it, I will be discussing the key points. Also, yeah, you can ask me any questions you want. So do you know with the that's right. So we are discussing Francis Bacon, and he was born in London. That's right. Maybe I should read it to you. Okay, so he was born in London, and he was very well educated in private institutions, and then he was sent to Trinity College. You have heard about it. It's good. Yeah, it's in Cambridge. So he was sent to this college at the year of 12. And then he started being trained as a lawyer. And then after this, he abandoned his studies after he was enrolled to study law. He abandoned his studies because he was offered a post of diplomatic person in France. But in 1579, his father has died, and unfortunately, he didn't have any more funds to continue living in France. So he returned and having this diplomatic post. So he returned to a legal profession, being a lawyer. And 5 years after this, so in 1584, he was elected to Parliament. But unfortunately, he couldn't make his career, this political career, until 1603, when James I became a king. in his biography there is a fact that he was dismissed from his post as a Lord Chancellor. Yeah, he was convicted of accepting bribes. Then after this he spent all his life writing and carrying out his scientific work. And he died because of bronchitis that he catched. He became ill during making an experiment when he was stuffing a chicken with snow to make experiments about food preservation. That's quite an interesting fact. Sad but interesting. Do you know the names of his key works? Yeah. So, Novo Morgano, that's right. He wrote it in 1620, but before this, in 1597, he had published his work named Essays, and then in 1605, The Advancement of Learning. Then, as you said, Novo Morgano in 1620s and 1624's Nova Atlantis. And so he was working on philosophy of science. That's a really interesting branch of philosophy, because as we know that philosophy historically and nowadays also it gives birth to ideas that then scientists are working on, and at the end they become real. They become our reality. So first, all these inventions, they are born in heads of philosophers, and then scientists are working on them, making experiments, and after this we can use all these innovations in our life. Yeah, the approach was empiricism. So let's start. I will be reading phrase by phrase or maybe paragraph by paragraph, and you will be saying what you understand and what would you like to focus on. Let's start. Yep. You can take notes. You don't need to write everything down, but just the key points or anything that you find interesting or we have read with you all the questions that you can have. Yeah, not exactly the formulas, but what you should pay attention to and what you can find on your exam paper. So let's concentrate. Francis Bacon. So first of all, please write down of his birth. It was 1561, and then the year when he died, it was 1626. So Bacon is often credited with being the first in a tradition of thought known as British empiricism, which is characterized by the view that all knowledge must come ultimately from sensory experience. He was born at a time when there was a shift from the Renaissance preoccupation with the rediscovered achievements of the ancient world towards a more scientific approach to knowledge. There had already been some innovative work by Renaissance scientists such as the astronomer Nicholas Copernicus and the anatomist Andreas Vesalius. But this new period, sometimes called the Scientific Revolution, produced an astonishing number of scientific thinkers, including Galileo Galilei, William Harvey, Robert Boyle, Robert Hooke, and Isaac Newton. Do you know all of them? Yeah, the Scientific Revolution. You can write it down, the Scientific Revolution. Also, the Church had been broadly welcoming to science for much of the medieval period. This was halted by the rise of opposition to the Vatican's authority during the Renaissance. Several religious reformers, such as Martin Luther, had complained that the Church had been too lax in countering scientific challenges to accounts of the world based on the Bible. In response, the Catholic Church, which had already lost adherents to Luther's new form of Christianity, changed its stance and turned against scientific endeavor. This opposition from both sides of the religious divide hampered the development of the sciences. Bacon claims to accept the teachings of the Christian Church, but he also argues that science must be separated from religion in order to make the acquisition of knowledge quick and easy, so that it can be used to improve the quality of people's lives. Bacon stressed this transformation role for science. One of his complaints is that science's ability to enhance human existence had previously been ignored in favor of a focus on academic and personal glory. Bacon presents a list of the psychological barriers to pursuing scientific knowledge in terms that he calls collectively the idols of the mind. That is very important. Please write down the idols of the mind. There are the idols of the tribe, the tendency of human beings as a species or tribe to generalize, the idols of the cave. The idols of the cave is the human tendency to impose preconceptions on nature rather than to see what is really there. And the idols of the market space, our tendency to let social conventions distort our experience, and the idols of the theater, the distorted influence of prevailing philosophical and scientific dogma. Should I repeat it to you? So, that is psychological barriers, and they don't let to develop as much as it is possible. So all I know, it's called this psychological barriers. He called idols of the mind, and there are 4 of them. So the first one is idols of the tribe. Yes, write down the idols of the tribe. It is our tendency as a tribe, as a society, to generalize. So the next one is idols of the cave, and it is the tendency to impose preconceptions on nature rather than to see what is really there. And the next one, the third one, is idols of the market space. It's our tendency to let social conventions distort our experience. Okay, and the next one is the fourth one. Is idols of the theatre. It is the distorting influence of prevailing philosophical and scientific dogma. And what do you think he said? He said that the scientist, he must battle against all these handicaps to gain knowledge of the world. So he must go through all these idols to get the real knowledge. Is it clear? Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask. The next one, what we're going to read, is about his scientific method. So Bacon goes on to argue that the advancement of science depends on formulating laws of ever-increasing generality. He proposed a scientific method that includes a variation of this approach. Instead of making a series of observations, such as instances of metals that expand when heated, and then concluding that heat must cause all metals to expand, he stressed the need to test a new theory by going on to look for negative instances, such as metals not expanding when they are heated. Bacon's influence led to a focus on practical experimentation in science. He was, however, criticized for neglecting the importance of the imaginative leaps that drive all science progress. So you can remember the quote by Francis Bacon that he was saying, "By far the best proof is experience." For example, to understand it better, I can explain you. So we see different instances of, for example, dog in the world around us. We see different breeds, different sizes, shapes, colors, anything. And after this, we recognize the common characteristics of dogs in the world. Using our senses and our reason, we understand what makes a dog a dog. And after this, we find the truth from evidence gained in the world around us. So he was claiming that it's the world that around us that is given all the experiences that we need to to filter through our senses and by our reasons to understand what is the knowledge, what is really existing. Does it make sense to you? Okay. So for the next lecture discussion that we'll have with you, you have to write a small essay, but not like a scientific essay, maybe more like your thoughts. Okay, not the next one, the one after we'll have. Do you want me to write it down for you? Okay. So it will be, today is the 1st November, so it will be 15th of November. So 15th of November, Francis Bacon, thoughts on topic, and the topic will be the So just don't forget about it, alright? Okay, so do you have something you want to discuss or you want to add? I will also send you some links what you will need to read. It won't be long, it will be just short articles. Okay, then see you next week. Good. Okay. Bye bye.